Swiss Frankie.
Yeah, full tribe in the building. Full tribe static addict. Melchizedek media. Melchizedek music. Yeah,
www.swissfrankie.com.
Stay focused. Yeah, how will we choose? We worship in spirit and truth. Stay focused. Don't be a fool. Study to show thyself approved. Stay focused. It's like blood in my chest. The word manifested in flesh. Stay focused. Hebrew, we got next. I preach the Melchizedek. Stay focused. Yeah, how will we choose? We worship in spirit and truth. Stay focused. Don't be a fool. Study to show thyself approved. Stay focused. It's like blood in my chest. The word manifested in flesh. Stay focused. Hebrew, we got next. So never abandon your post.
Keep your eyes on the prize. I'm not talking about no dollar sign. The kingdom's at hand, that's the plan, my man. Spiritual gifts is what I store up. Waiting for the sun to show up. Then Babylon gon' burn up, and them gold streets gon' turn up. There'll be love for thy neighbor, will be heavenly favor. Now true love's what you get when you live in the script. So tune in to this vibration. We from his holy nation, here to give words to the ears that hear. Screaming Yahshua's coming till he appears. Cry loud and spare not brute. Now that scripture, strong in the faith in this heavenly race. Washed by the blood of Yahweh Shah, that's grace.
Stay focused. Yeah, how will we choose? We worship in spirit and truth. Stay focused. Don't be a fool. Study to show thyself approved. Stay focused. It's like blood in my chest. The word manifested in flesh. Stay focused. Hebrew, we got next. I preach the Melchizedek. Stay focused. Yeah, how will we choose? We worship in spirit and truth. Stay focused. Don't be a fool. Study to show thyself approved. Stay focused. It's like blood in my chest. The word manifested in flesh. Stay focused. Hebrew, we got next. So never abandon your post.
But herein lies the secret to what's going on and the chaos in the whole world. The whole world knows deep down inside. The Muslims, the Christians, the atheists, the Buddhists, you name it, everybody knows it. Mashiach is coming, and all the Jews are about to be brought back to the land of Israel. And the third temple is about to be rebuilt.
When Israel is established in the end time, they go to Israel, they build the state, but they're unable to build the temple. They're unable to. And they've been trying to for many, many years. And they know and they believe that when the temple is built, that their Messiah will accompany them.
Yes.
Because the house of God always accompanies the monarch or the house of David or that person from the house of David. When his temple is built, his deal is fulfilled, he brings forward the king as well.
Yeah.
And so they want to build the temple because they're waiting for their Messiah.
Yes.
And at the same time, the Christians believe that when they do build that temple, that Jesus will return because Jesus is that Messiah.
Yes.
There is this kind of behind-the-scenes push to rebuild the temple in Jerusalem, which would require destroying the third holiest place in Islam, the mosque, the Al-Aqsa Mosque. I've talked to a bunch of people about this who think that it's imminent, that it's not crazy to think that that mosque would be blown up in order to make way for the third temple. Do you fear that? If that happens, what happens next?
Well, the extremism on display in Israel is, as I said, the most lawless in the world today. Israel is the rogue state of the whole world. Israel flagrantly violates every limit. Israel goes to war where it wants to. It murders foreign leaders where and when it wants to. It acts with complete impunity and disdain. And Netanyahu thinks that he controls, and maybe he does, the U.S. government, so that whatever he does, he thinks he can get away with. So there's no doubt that there is a third temple movement.
Will Donald Trump be the one to initiate the building of the third temple? Well, these Jews in Israel believe he will. And not only that, they believe he is actually a type of Messiah to them. This is in their own words and in their gematria.
We'll all see the building of the third temple in Jerusalem very soon. And we honor our President Trump for what he has done for Jerusalem and for the Jewish people.
Mr. Trump could promise to use his building skills to build a temple.
And one day our true leader will come and we'll be united as a whole Jewish nation so we can rebuild the Beit HaMikdash.
Yes, he, I believe, is the Mashiach of Edom. See? And that's why I believe that the gematria of Donald Trump is gematria Mashiach ben David.
Somebody had to do it. I am the chosen one. Somebody had to do it.
And I have good reason to believe Donald Trump was chosen to be the one to redeem the sins of Esav through offering his assistance in rebuilding the Holy Temple on the Temple Mount and establishing the Jewish kingdom over all of mankind in Jerusalem.
Is gematria Mashiach ben David? You know what that means? He, I believe, is the Mashiach of Edom. A Mashiach is nothing more than an anointed one, right? That completely reverses the order of something.
Perhaps it is no accident that the numeric value of Donald Trump in Hebrew is the same as Messiah, son of David, Mashiach ben David, 424.
This is a coin minted in Jerusalem with the image of Donald Trump, King Cyrus, and the third temple on it. This is the exact value, according to Levitical law, of a half shekel, the price it would cost for an adult male to enter the temple. This raises many questions. The main questions we'll be addressing today will be, why is President Trump, the American president, King Cyrus, a king who was against the Jewish people 2,500 years ago, and a third temple minted on a coin that can be used as entry to that same temple that doesn't yet exist?
If you don't think that the third temple is being built or is already built right now, I have some news for you. There is already the infrastructure in place to support a very rapid prefab, and they're already putting everything in place right now. Check this out. I live in Jerusalem, and I'm going to show you right now that it is happening. And in fact, what you see here is a chairlift that they are putting in to the old city in Jerusalem. It's going to look like this. They're building a whole building. It's called the Kotel Elevator. They're building a whole building to take people, see that? They're building a chairlift to take people up to the Temple Mount when the temple, the third temple, is there. And so they have this whole area under construction. I've been here for like a year. They've had a wall there. You can hear the jackhammering during the day. They're ready right here. And then we also have this development. They made road signs that say Har Bet Hashem, which means the house of God. Like, they're directing people to the third temple already. Like, they've already got the signs up. You can see like the Jerusalem sign above it, and then Bet El above that. Like, so this is on the road. I think this is the road to the Dead Sea. So they're already putting all this stuff in place. There's already Jews going up to the Temple Mount and praying, and this has become like a regular thing. And there's also like an institute where it's right across from the chairlift I just showed you, where they have all the stuff for the temple already, like that goes inside the temple that they use to perform all the rituals from Leviticus. So if you guys want, I can do a video. I actually just went there not that long ago, and I can post a video on that.
Okay, so you hear people say we're going to rebuild the temple, the third temple, but there's a mosque there, so what's the plan for the mosque?
Well, I guess it would be to blow it up.
You just said that's the third holiest site in
of Islam, of course.
Yeah.
This would be a dark day. for anybody.
So then what would happen if you blew up the third holiest site in
Well, you could probably answer that better than me. It certainly would ignite a great conflict in the world.
And my dear Muslim brothers and sisters, it is our responsibility as Muslims to know about this and to convey this. They want to build the third temple.
Shalom, family. It's your little brother Benign coming at you with another video. I know it's been a long time since I left you with a dope study to precept to, sept to, sept to, sept to, sept to, sept to. Freaky, freaky, freaky. But y'all know how it is, family. Life be lifing. Jeremiah 10:23 says, I know that the way of man is not in himself. It is not in man that walketh to direct his steps. You never know what journey the Most High will take you on, nor for what reason. That's why we say, if it be the Most High's will. Well, all praises to the Most High that we are able to meet here for another video. This video will be a continuation of the Searching for Babylon series. In the last video of our series, we found Babylon the Great, and she is, without a doubt, the United States of America. The U.S. fits all the criteria of being the woman who rides the beast in the book of Revelation chapter 18. From her being the mother of harlots and the source of fornication, to her being the land of graven images and the hammer of the whole earth. So in this video, we're going to talk about the beast, who is the Antichrist, and the Edomites' mission to build the third temple to bring about their Messiah, whom they call the Son of David, but will really be the opposite Christ to the real Christ. Now, the topic of the building of the third temple isn't very popular in the Hebrew Israelite community, and for this reason, you will find very little teachings on it. I think that most Israelites believe that there will be many antichrists, but don't believe that there will be one Antichrist. And for the most part, the ones who do speak about the Antichrist hardly ever speak about the building of the third temple. I'm not sure if they understand that the third temple is definitely written of in the Bible. So in this video, we're going to show how the beast is the Antichrist, and how those who call themselves Jews and are not will build a temple for their Messiah to come and sit and declare himself as the God of this world. It is my opinion that in order to fully understand the coming of the Antichrist and the building of the third temple, we must fully grasp what was written in the book of Isaiah, the 14th chapter, verses 12 through 14. Those verses read, How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of Yah. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. I don't think we get the full message of this passage. I think we stop at the thought that Satan just simply desires to be worshipped like the God of Israel is worshipped. I don't think that we take it to the next thought that not only does Satan desire to be worshipped like the Most High, he also desires to set up his system of worship the same way as the Most High. Meaning that Satan will have a chosen people the same way the Most High Yah has a chosen people called Israel. The Bible calls Satan's chosen people those who say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. And if the Most High has anointed his Christ, to whom he has given all power and authority to, as written in the book of Matthew, when Yeshua said himself that all power was given to him in heaven and in earth. And Satan will do exactly the same, and anoint his Christ to have all power over the earth, and place him in the seat of authority. Now, I know that some people will say, hold up now, little brother Benaiah. It says that the dragon gave power and authority to the beast. And the beast is a system or a kingdom. And you are correct. The word beast in the Bible is referring to a kingdom in the books like the book of Daniel. But when we get to Revelation, and in particular, the chapters that is referring to the beast that is and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit, that beast is the Antichrist. And this isn't something that I'm just making up. This is confirmed in the Greek lexicon, where it says that the word beast refers to both the Antichrist and his kingdom in the book of Revelation. Starting from chapter 11, verse 7, and chapters 13 through 20. Everywhere you see the word beast, you can replace that with the word Antichrist. So in the book of Daniel, we are clearly reading about kingdoms when we read about the four beasts in the book of Daniel, chapter 7. In fact, verse 23 lets us know that we are talking about kingdoms. But when we get into the book of Revelation, we have to use discernment to understand that this beast is a being of some kind. Revelation 17 and 8 says that the beast ascends out of the bottomless pit. Now, how can a kingdom ascend out of a bottomless pit? And Revelation 19:20 says that the beast will be taken alive along with his false prophet and cast into the lake of fire. How can a kingdom be alive? And how can a kingdom be bound and thrown into a lake of fire? This beast is clearly a being and is the Antichrist, like the lexicon confirms. Now, some Israelites would disagree with me and insist that the beast in Revelation is a kingdom and nothing more. Some don't believe that there will be an Antichrist who is the Antichrist, like it is written in 1 John chapter 2, verse 18. But let's take a closer look at that prefix anti in Antichrist and Antichrist. The word anti or anti has several definitions and meanings. It also has two separate pronunciations, depending on how you are using the word, although people use them interchangeably. When anti is used as a preposition, it is pronounced with the long I sound, as in, I'm anti the abuse of drink. Also, when it is used as an adjective, as in anti abortion. But when that same word is used as a prefix, it is pronounced anti with a long E, as in anti aircraft. Both definitions can mean to oppose or to be against. The difference between the two pronunciations of the word anti and anti is that anti with the long I sound isn't a physical action. It is referring to a thought process, a philosophy, or policy. But when the word anti is used, it refers to physical action. The definition changes from being opposed to in thought, philosophy, or policy to being the opposite of in actions. It basically means the counteract of an action. But this counteraction is of the same kind as the action, but situated opposite and exerting a counter energy in the opposite direction, like the word antidote. Antidote is a substance or remedy that counteracts poison. The antidote of a poison is usually made up of the same substance or kind that the poison is made up of. Its purpose is to exert its energy opposite the energy of the poison. This is why it is called an antidote and not an antidote. I want to give a few more examples of the word anti being used as a prefix, only because I think it is important that we understand the definition of this word. So please forgive me if I overdo it a little bit. But understand that the prefix of the word anti is to mean of the same kind, but situated opposite and exerting energy in the opposite direction. Another example is anti air defense. Sometimes people say anti air defense or anti aircraft. But technically, this is incorrect. Saying anti-air defense would mean that you are opposed to or against defending your air. But saying anti-air defense would mean that you are counteracting or exerting energy in the opposite direction of airborne threats, like how a surface-to-air missile, or SAM, is designed to destroy airborne threats such as aircrafts and other missiles, exerting an opposite energy of the same kind to counteract against those airborne threats that are launching air-to-surface missiles, or ASMs, which are designed to destroy targets on the surface. This is why it is correctly pronounced anti-air defense. Another example is matter versus antimatter. Now, I think that this is a really good example because antimatter is the opposite of the matter. Matter is made up of particles such as electrons, protons, and neutrons, while antimatter is made up of antiparticles such as the positron, the antiproton, and the antineutron. This is the word anti being used as a prefix to show something that is situated opposite of something else, exerting the same kind of energy in the opposite or opposing direction. When we understand that the word anti has two separate pronunciations and definitions, we can have a better understanding of what is being said in 1 John chapter 2 and 18. John is reminding the people that they had already heard that the one Antichrist would come. This Antichrist is singular. This is telling us that they knew to expect one to come who would be the opposite of the real Christ. This is the one that Christ was talking about when he said that another shall come in his own name, and him you shall receive. Now, this other word, Antichrist, in this verse is plural. In this position, this word is used as a preposition. These are they that are against or opposes Christ in thought process, philosophy, or policies, like being anti-abortion. So 1 John chapter 2, verse 18 should be read, little children, it is the time, and as ye has heard, that the opposite Christ shall come. Even now, there are many who oppose Christ, whereby we know that it is the last days. The first Antichrist, written in 1 John 2 and 18, is using the word anti as a prefix. The Antichrist is the opposite Christ, that is made up of the same kind as the real Christ, but situated opposite, exerting energy in the opposite direction. Now, I know what you were thinking. You're like, come on now, little brother Benai. It sounds like you're talking about Superman versus evil Superman. But that is very close to what I am saying. Remember that when the word anti is used as a prefix, its definition is of the same kind, but situated opposite, exerting energy in the opposite direction. The Antichrist is made up of the same substance as Christ. He is a little g God. Am I saying that he is as powerful as Christ? No. I know most people have a hard time understanding that there are many gods. And when I use this word gods, I'm simply referring to something that is greater than man, what you would call a supernatural being, but on the highest level. The Bible refers to the supernatural beings as Elohim in the plural and El as its singular use. These are the little g gods. Its biblical usage refers to the Most High God as well as what are called godlike ones or mighty ones. As you can see, both angels and demons fit in this category. These are the gods spoken of in the book of Exodus, chapter 15 and 11. Also in the book of Exodus, chapter 34, verse 14. the book of Psalms, chapter 81, verse 9, and chapter 89, verse 6. These are the gods that the Most High told the children of Israel not to worship. This includes the Watchers, who came down and slept with the daughters of men in the book of Genesis, the 70 angels who were appointed over the 70 nations at the Tower of Babel, and all of the hosts of heaven, including the third of the angels that Satan took with him from heaven after his battle with the archangel Michael and his angels. Also, in the book of Enoch, you have Raphael, who was the mighty one responsible for binding the falling angels and putting them in the bottomless pit. You have Uriel, who was Enoch's guide on his tour of heaven. And in the book of Daniel, you have Gabriel, who was the messenger sent to Daniel, but was held up by the prince of Persia. And he had to call the archangel Michael to come help him. Even the leaders of the 200 fallen angels that left their habitation and came down to earth are called Els or Elohim. Azazel and Kokabiel, who was spoken of in the Dead Sea Scrolls, were just two of those leaders. It is believed by some biblical scholars that it was the fallen angel Gadriel who was the one who tempted Eve in the garden. Some people believe that there's only one God, but the Bible clearly teaches that there are many gods. The one that we believe to be the one and only God is really the highest God, or the Most High God. He is the God of gods. That means that Lucifer, or Satan, and the beast, or the Antichrist, would also fit in this definition of El. So when I say that the beast is a god, what I am saying is that he is a mighty one. He is made up of the same substance or kind as Christ. Yet he is situated opposite of Christ, exerting opposite energy. So, yes, I am talking about two supernatural beings doing battle against each other. One is on Team Light, the other one is situated opposite on Team Dark. They are both exerting energy in the opposite direction of each other. Where do you think they get the idea of Superman versus evil Superman from? You need a Megatron if you're going to defeat Optimus Prime. You need a Thanos if you're going to defeat Thor. And the kings of the earth and their armies will need an opposite Christ to fight Christ.
I saw the beast and the kings of the earth, their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse, and against his army.
What do I mean by opposite Christ? Well, when we read all the characteristics, attributes, as well as prophecies of both characters, we can see that the Christ and the Antichrist are polar opposites of each other. First, we will look at how both the Christ and the Antichrist are prophesied to arrive on earth. According to scriptures like 1 Thessalonians chapter 4 verse 6, Yeshua will descend from heaven with his army of 144,000 accompanying him at the sound of the last trumpet. But the beast will come from the completely opposite direction. He shall ascend out of the bottomless pit. The Christ will arrive on earth from above, while the Antichrist shall come from below. The second thing that we will look at is how the Christ is God and how the Antichrist is not God. On the left side of your screen, you see Revelation chapter 1 verse 8 describes the Christ as which is, which was, and which is to come. And on the opposite side of your screen, you see that Revelation chapter 17 verse 8 says that the beast was and is not and yet is. This is referring to being God or ruler of the earth. If you put the word God behind each one of these phrases, you will have a better understanding. Yahshua the Christ is God. He always was God, and he is God to come back and rule over the earth. But his opposite, or Antichrist, was God at one point in time on the earth, before he was bound in the bottomless pit that he will ascend from. But the beast is not God, and yet he is God, or will be God, when he ascends out of that bottomless pit, and the entire world wonders after him, and say, who is like unto the beast? Who can make war with the beast? A time will come when the entire world will think that the Antichrist is God, when in reality, he is not. Satan has a people who say they are Jews and are not. And he also has a Messiah who says he is God and is not, but is the anointed one of Satan. The third thing that we'll look at to show that the Antichrist slash beast slash son of perdition is the opposite Christ to Yeshua the Christ is that Yeshua keeps the laws of Yah, whereas the Antichrist does not keep the laws of Yah. In the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 17, Yeshua says, think not that he has come to destroy the law, but he has come to fulfill the law. Now, modern Christianity teaches that this word fulfill means that he completed the laws. Therefore, we no longer have to do the laws because, the laws were nailed to the cross with Yeshua. But according to the Strong's Greek Concordance, that word fulfill, which is G4137, pronounced pleroo, means to carry into effect, to perform, to fulfill, with the examples given, to cause God's will as made known in the law to be obeyed as it should be. Yahshua came to do his Father's will, which is to keep the laws or to do the laws. But the Antichrist will do the opposite of the Christ. The Antichrist will also do the will of his father, with his father being the dragon, aka Satan, aka Lucifer. Lucifer only has one law, and that law was made famous by the world-renowned Aleister Crowley. That law is to do what thou wilt. In other words, to not follow any laws, especially the laws of the Most High. In 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 of the KJV, verse 3 describes the Antichrist, who is also the son of perdition, which I will prove coming up shortly, as being the man of sin. To commit sin is to disobey Yah's law, according to the Bible. So that would make the Antichrist the lawless one. That's why I had shared the translation from the New Living Translation, where it has replaced the words man of sin with the man of lawlessness. Yeshua will do the laws of God, where the opposite Christ will be disobedient or lawless. The fourth thing that we will look at is that the real Christ brings eternal life, while the Antichrist does the opposite and brings death and destruction. Yahshua sums it up in one verse. In the book of John, chapter 10, verse 10, in that verse, he contrasts himself against the Antichrist when he says that the thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. But I am come that they might have life and that they might have it more abundantly. In the next chapter, in verse 26, he says that whosoever liveth and believeth in him shall never die. While on the other side of the spectrum, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 verse 3 tells us to let no man deceive you, for that day shall not come except that the man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. Now, perdition means destruction, as we can see in the New Living Translation, where it calls the son of perdition the one who brings destruction. Go to the book of John, chapter 6, verse 40. It says that it is the will of the Father that everyone which seeth the Son and believeth on him have everlasting life, and Yahshua will raise him up at the last day. Whereas on the other side, we see in the book of Revelation, chapter 17, verse 8, that the people of the earth shall wonder and worship the beast that was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition. These people who will worship this beast, their names are not written in the book of life. This tells us that worshiping the Antichrist / beast / son of perdition when he is revealed will guarantee you death. Not just the first death that everyone faces, but also the second death. The ultimate biblical conflict is not between Christ and Satan, but between Christ and the Antichrist, two opposing forces made up of the same kind, exerting energy in the opposite directions.
I saw the beast and the kings of the earth, their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse, and against his army.
2 Corinthians chapter 4 says that Satan is the god of this world. The dragon rules the world today. A day will come when he will raise up his Messiah, the Antichrist, to come and sit at his left-hand side while he makes his enemies his footstool. And the world will worship the dragon, and they will worship the beast. Lucifer desires to be like the Most High. Therefore, he will set up his system identical to Yah's. The creator of all things has placed his anointed one as the true ruler of the earth and has placed him at his right hand. But Lucifer, who has stolen the dominion of the earth from Adam, will give all the kingdoms of the earth to whom he pleases in his attempt to be like the Most High. Sit thou at my right hand until I make thine enemies thy footstool. So Yeshua will have to take back his dominion and his rightful place as ruler of this earth. This is very important to remember. It seems that people have either forgotten the order of events or preparing everyone for the revelation and arrival of the Antichrist. I can't tell which one. All over social media, it seems as if everyone is preparing themselves for the return of Christ. It's not just Christians who believe that Jesus could come any day now, but there are Israelites who also believe that Yahushua could come at any moment.
Our Lord is about to come back, man. Okay? The one the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. They think he's a so-called white man. They think all these things about him, man. Okay? They think he's all love and that he loves everybody. Basically, our Lord, Yahushua, is about to make his grand entrance on the world stage, man. Okay? He's about to make his world premiere.
But the Bible teaches that the Antichrist must come first. One must ask themselves, are those who are teaching that Christ is on his way doing it out of ignorance or intentional? Because the book does say that the world will wander after the beast, saying, who is like the beast? Who can make war with the beast? To me, that sounds like the world will accept him who shall come in his own name. Be not fooled, family. Whoever shows up first, whether he is white or black or anything else, has to be the Antichrist. The Antichrist must come first, or else who is the real Christ coming to take dominion from? Let's look at 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, which in my opinion is probably one of the least read chapters in the 66 books, but at the same time, one of the most important chapters in the Bible. Let's start at 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 1 through 3, and take it slow. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 1. Now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Master Yeshua HaMashiach, and by our gathering together unto him, that ye be not soon shaken in mind, or be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter as from us, as that the day of Christ is at hand. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and the man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. Thessalonians tells us to not let anyone lie to or deceive us by any means, that the day of Christ shall not come, except first that man of sin be revealed. The day of Christ is the day of his return, known as the day of the Lord. This is literally saying that the day of the Lord cannot come unless the man of sin be revealed. For those who don't believe that there is an opposite Christ, you have placed yourself in grave danger, because this is telling us that the real Christ cannot come until the opposite Christ comes first. But some have prepared themselves to receive the one who comes first. Let's look at what the Antichrist does once he returns. Verse 4 reads, Who opposeth and exalted himself above all that is called God, or that is worship, so that he, as God, sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. This verse tells us that the Antichrist will sit in the temple of God. Right here is where people get stuck, especially some Israelites, because they believe that the third temple will not be built until Christ arrives. But we just read that Christ cannot return, or the day of the Lord cannot come, except the man of sin be revealed first. And if there isn't a temple standing today for him to come and sit in and show himself that he is God, then a temple must be built. Let me repeat that. The day of Christ, or the day of the Lord, cannot come except the man of sin is revealed first. And he who is the Antichrist, or opposite Christ, comes and sits in the temple of God. This has to happen, whether you believe it or not. Because if it doesn't happen, then the redemption of the Israelites will never come. So let God and his word be true, and all men a liar, because we see God's word coming to pass. Those who call themselves Jews and are not are currently waiting for their Messiah to return. Now, if those who call themselves Jews and are not are really the synagogue of Satan, like the book says, then their Messiah that they are waiting to return is the one that Satan has given power and authority to rule over the earth. The son of David that the Revelations 2 and 9ers are waiting on is the Antichrist. And the Antichrist is the Messiah of Edom.
Yes, he, I believe, is the Mashiach of Edom. He, I believe, is the Mashiach of Edom. The Mashiach of Edom.
And one day our true leader will come and we'll be united as a whole Jewish nation. Our true leader will come. Our true leader will come.
The Mashiach of Edom.
So we can rebuild the Beit HaMikdash.
We'll all see the building of the third temple in Jerusalem very soon. We'll all see the building of the third temple in Jerusalem very soon.
These people are telling you to your face that they are going to build a third temple for their Messiah to come, which lines up with the Bible saying that the anti-Messiah or opposite Messiah must come first and declare himself as God. This is happening exactly how it is written. Those who say they are Jews and are not are waiting for the one that they call the Son of David to come, who says that he is God but is not. So why don't you believe them? And because you don't believe them, does that make the faith of God without effect? The Bible says, God forbid, to let Yah be true, but every man a liar, as it is written. Those who don't believe that the third temple will be built have placed themselves in grave danger. Let's prove it by continuing to read 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. For the sake of time, let us drop down to verse 7, which reads, For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let, until he be taken out of the way. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders. This passage tells us that the wicked one who will be revealed, whose coming is after the working of Satan, is Satan's anointed one, who has come to do the will of his father, which is to kill, steal, and destroy. And the Lord, or Yeshua, shall destroy this wicked one at his coming. This is how we know that the son of perdition in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 is the same as the beast in Revelation 19. Christ only returns once. He has a second coming, not a third or fourth. So whoever is the main antagonizer that he destroys upon his arrival in Revelation has to be the same antagonizer that he is destroying in this chapter.
I saw the beast and the kings of the earth, their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse, and against his army.
The wicked one shall be revealed, the lawless one, who was also called the son of perdition. He is Satan's anointed, and the synagogue of Satan's Messiah, the one whom they call the Son of David. He shall deceive the entire world because they love not the truth. They love not the truth that those who say they are Jews and are not are really the synagogue of Satan, like the book says. They love not the truth that the true Jew or Israelite or those who were taken into captivity into all nations by the way of the transatlantic slave trade. They love not the truth that Yahshua is a black man. They love not the truth that there is an Antichrist, and he shall come first. They love not the truth that a temple must be built so that he may sit in it and declare himself as God, or else the day of the Lord shall not come. And for this cause, Yah shall send them a strong delusion, that they shall believe the lies that they believe. It's interesting because we use this phrase that Yah or God has sent someone a strong delusion on many occasions. As an Israelite, we say to the Christians who believe that they don't have to keep the laws of God, that God has sent them a strong delusion. We say to those who believe that they could be homosexual and still be saved, that God has sent them a strong delusion. We even say of our Islamic brothers who follow the Quran that God has sent them a strong delusion. But in proper context, this phrase is really referring to believing that the Antichrist or opposite Christ will be the real Christ. This is the real strong delusion that he will let all the people of the world believe. Remember, the whole earth will wander after the beast and say, who is like unto the beast? Who could make war with the beast? And it's all because people believe that Jesus is coming any day now, and Yahushua is on his way. And the world shall wander after the beast, whose names are not written in the book of life. That's why I felt compelled to make this video, to remind those who have forgotten and to warn those who didn't know. The day of Christ shall not come except the Antichrist comes first and sits in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. If there is not a temple built so that he can do this, then one must be built, or else the day of Christ shall not come. Well, family, that brings us to the end of this video. I hope that you have learned that there is an Antichrist and that a third temple must be built for him. If it is the Most High's will, in our next video, we will continue to talk about the Antichrist, who is the beast, and his false prophet, and who they might be. Until then, family, as I always say, stay blessed, stay prayed up, and if you don't do anything else, stay focused. Shalom.
Stay focused. Yeah, how we choose, we worship in spirit and truth. Stay focused. Don't be a fool. Study to show thyself approved. Stay focused. It's for like blood in my chest. The word manifested in flesh. Stay focused. Hebrew, we got next. I preach the Miguel's a dead. Stay focused. Yeah, how we choose, we worship in spirit and truth. Stay focused. Don't be a fool. Study to show thyself approved. Stay focused.